Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm looking at a new poll from Echelon Insights, which did their July 2025 voter omnibus top line poll, and it shows a very interesting result for the generic ballot for 2026 and an interesting scenario I want to play out in this video. So in this poll, it showed that 40% of respondents were Republican, 38% Democrat, and Independent 20%. When I asked if you're firmly a Republican or Democrat, 78% said firmly Republican to 80% saying firmly a Democrat. And then I also asked, even if neither political party perfectly represents your views, who do you agree with more often on issues that are important to you? 33% said Republican, 27% said Democrat, 29% say both equally often. And now for the generic ballot for 2026, it says, quote, if the election for Congress were held today and you had to make a choice for whom you would vote for, who would you vote for? Definitely probably the Republican got 48%, and definitely probably the Democrat 47%, with roughly 6% unsure. Now it also does an interesting scenario here where they ask about the America Party that Elon Musk has introduced. 44% say they've heard of it, 53% say they really haven't. They asked us again, if the America Party was thrown into the equation, how would it go? The Democrats have 45%, Republicans 41%, the America Party 5%, 10% saying they are unsure. So this does confirm our earlier suspicion that the America Party would take more votes away from the Republicans than from the Democrats. But for the purpose of today's video, it's very interesting this result that Republicans are up one over the Democrats for 2026. Now, for the generic ballot right now, on 2026 on realclearpolitics.com, the Democrats currently lead over the Republicans by 2.4%. In 2026, which will be the midterm election in President Trump's second term, is typically supposed to be a very strong night for the party not in charge, which will be the Democrats. And in my own personal predictions for this midterm election, I do believe 2026 will end up being a very strong election for the Democrats. But let's go through the scenario of Republicans winning the generic ballot by 1% just to see how it plays out. Because on 270towin.com, the current House of Representatives map is Republicans at 220, Democrats at 212 with 3 vacancies. Once those vacancies go as we expect they will, the Democrats will be up to 215, Republicans 220, Democrats will need to flip 3 seats to get the House majority in 2026. So for 2024, you may be unfamiliar with this, the Republicans won the national House vote, which is what the generic ballot essentially is, by 2.8%. Republicans won 50.6% of all votes, Democrats won 47.8%, about 2.8 percentage points. This poll had the Republicans winning 48 to 47, which is a 1-point margin of victory. So at 2.8% going down to 1, it would be about a 1.8% shift from 2024 to 2026 towards the Democrats. So using map.jacksonjude.com, we can actually see what this shift would look like. So we're going to shift it towards the Democrats. We're going to shift the 2024 results towards the Democrats by 1.8% and see how the results change here. Okay, so take a good look at the map now. 220 to 215. After the shift, it goes 220 to 215 for the Democrats. And that's what's so amazing here with how close these elections were in 2024 and could be in 2026. The Republicans are still winning the national House vote, the generic congressional ballot, by 1 point in this poll, and the Democrats would still very narrowly have enough to win back the House. So let's inspect. What are some of the places where things flipped or things got a lot closer? Well, first one that comes to mind is the state of Iowa. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. I meant to zoom in on it, but it won't let me zoom in, so I'll just do this. Iowa, the first district with Marionette Miller Meeks. Right now, on the 270 to Win website, this is ranked as a toss-up, and this one goes towards the Democrats in this ranking. Now, in this new shift, it also shows the second congressional district with Don Bacon. This one would very narrowly be a tilt Republican win. All expectations are this race would be a close Democratic win in 2026, but that one, based on the 2024 results, ends up going blue. Colorado's 8th district with Gabe Evans. This one has been very close, very, very close in 2024. This one ends up going to the Democrats as well. And just to show you this as well, we can look at which districts actually flipped based on these results. On the Republican side, 6 districts that went Democratic flipped to the Republicans. And in this, it goes Alaska at large with 0.2%, Michigan 7, 1.9%, North Carolina 14, 14.3, North Carolina 15.5, Georgia 7, 27.9, North Carolina 6, 36.5. On the Democratic side, some very close flips here in California 13. This goes Democrat by 1.9%. California 45 goes Democrat by 2%. New York 19 ends up flipping to 4 points. New York 4, 4.1. California 27, 4.5. Oregon 5, 4.5. New York 3, 5.4. New York 22, 10.9. Then Alabama, Louisiana, and Georgia. So it's very interesting here how just shifting this map about 1.8% towards the Democrats, even when the Republicans are still winning the generic ballot, shows that the Democrats would actually take the House based on the 2024 results. Now, this isn't always the case, as not every election is the same. Things are not always done in a vacuum. In 2026, there will be some candidates retiring, like Don Bacon in Nebraska's 2nd District. There may be maps getting redrawn in Ohio and Texas. That'll change the map and change the number of House seats as well. But it shows you that how close this election is going to be in 2026 and how razor thin the Republican majority is, when the Republicans still winning the House by 1 point actually leads to the Democrats narrowly holding a majority. We also see some very close wins here in California with these 2 districts. We see this district in Arizona, which is going to be represented by Republican Juan Ciscomani, barely staying red, as well as Arizona 1 with David Schweikert. California 13, Adam Gray, barely stays blue, as well as California 27 with George Whiteside. So some very close wins there in California and Arizona on that one. Alaska also flipped red from Mary Peltola to Nick Begich, but very barely in this scenario. So if Peltola decided to run again for the seat, I don't believe she's indicated that she will, but this would be a very narrow win based on this map as well. 2 very key races in Texas stay towards the Democrats. This is Texas 28 and Texas 34. They stay in the Democratic column as well. Wisconsin's 3rd district. This is represented by Republican Derek Van Orden. This is a top pickup opportunity for the Democrats in 2026. This one, based on the 2024 result shift, just barely stays in the Republican category. Unlike Iowa 1, with Marinette Miller Meeks, which does shift to the Democrats. 2 close races in Ohio stay in the Democratic side. Pennsylvania is very big here, though, because Pennsylvania has 3 races that are listed as toss-up or lean Republican, and PA 10 with Scott Perry, PA 7 with Ryan McKenzie, and PA 8 with Rob Bresnahan. Based on the shift in results, all 3 of them would go Democratic by under 1% of the vote in a very, very narrow margin. So that is certainly very big. Now we're going to zoom in here as well. These 3 shift towards the Democrats. New Jersey 7 with Tom Keene very barely stays Republican. Mike Lawler barely holds on in New York. The 2 Democratic flips stay blue in that regard. So as you can see, a very close election where Republicans win the House by 1 based on the 2024 results ends up with Democrats at 220 to Republicans at 215. But again, this is giving the Republicans that 1 point win on the map. But now let's go back. Let's flip it a little bit. As the poll mentioned, in that election where it was the American Party, Democrats led over the Republicans by 4 points, 45, 41, and then 5. So let's play out that scenario. We're going to shift the map again here, but in this time around, we're going to have the Democrats actually winning by roughly 4 points. And again, Republicans won by 2.8, so that would have to be about a shift of 6.8% from 2024 to 2026. So we're going to shift this map 6.8 and see what the House results end up looking like. So in that scenario where Republicans won 220 to 215, it ends up Democrats getting 234 to Republicans 201. So a lot of very big shifts here from 2024 to 2026 if the American Party is able to get a lot of those, votes that the poll shows it could. If it can get 5%, the Democrats would have a massive improvement there. On this one, there are still a handful of seats that do flip towards the Republicans for them in North Carolina 13 and 14, Georgia 7, North Carolina 6, but the Democrats also flip 11 Republican seats to the Democratic category. But you see Democratic wins in 2 House races in Iowa, and Iowa 1, and I believe Iowa 3 with Zach Nunn. Yes, those 2 go blue. Wisconsin 3, Derek Van Orden in this scenario. That one ends up going blue. Michigan 7 with Tom Barrett goes blue. Colorado, Colorado's 3 district with Jeff Hurd, likely Republican for 2026. In this scenario, this ends up going blue. We also see Arizona's Adam Gray district more solid. This district almost goes blue as well. Juan Cisco Manny district in Arizona actually does go blue in this scenario. So it's very, very impressive to see here what a 4-point Democratic win with the America Party splitting vote here against the Republicans could end up looking like. Arizona 6 and Arizona 1, both Republican held in this scenario, both would go towards the Democrats. Don Bacon's seat would go blue, as well as Jen Kagan's seat in Virginia. This would also be a Democratic flip. And those 3 Pennsylvania House seats, once again, are Democratic. Tom Keene's seat in New Jersey flips to the Democrats, as well as Mike Lawler's New York Republican seat as well. So if that American Party stat is true, where if they were able to play a significant role in 2026, where they're getting 5% of the national House vote, that's going to be hurting the Republicans in all likelihood. This could lead to a Democrat 234, Republican 201 House majority, where not only do the Democrats have a majority in the House, it's no longer a narrow majority. It is a pretty solid, stopping pretty much everything the Republicans want to do majority in the U.S. House. So that would be very, very big for Democrats. They're able to pull that off. So this poll shows a very interesting find here that Republicans at +1 would still probably cost the Republicans the House in the way the current map based on the 2024 results. But in that third party scenario with the America Party, that would also cost the Republicans the House, but by a very large amount. But now we have to play into the argument here. It was the Democrats at 220 to 215 in that Republican +1 scenario. What if the Republicans successfully redistrict, though? Well, in that one, the Republicans would be picking up 2 House seats guaranteed in Ohio, plus probably a third one with Ohio 1. That would net them 3 seats. That would get the Republicans to 218, Democrats 217. So if the Republicans redistrict in that scenario, Republicans would hold a 1-seat majority. If they did Texas and got these 2 House seats, that would be an extra 2, it would be +5. That would bring them 220 to 215. So in that scenario, the Republicans would hold the House majority. Actually, I could probably do it on this map too, just to show you what it would look like here. If the Republicans were able to do this, this would get the Republicans now in that way. In a way, they could hold the majority by the same margin they currently have it, but with a redrawn map in Texas and Ohio, where it'd be a more Democrat-friendly environment, but the numbers don't change. It's a fascinating conversation, and as we get closer to 2026, I'll be doing a lot more House videos going forward, but generic ballot numbers like these are really fascinating. Again, especially considering the most updated polling average from Real Clear Politics has the Democrats leading by 2.4%, which, as the Republican +1 number showed you, 2.4% would be more than enough for the Democrats to have a narrow majority, flipping the House from red to blue for 2026. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. Leave a comment below. Tell me any thoughts or questions you have, and I hope to see you in a future video.